Our lesson today is to be able to graph and describe translations. A few vocabulary words today. First, we have what we call a transformation. A transformation is a change in the position, shape, or size of a figure. We have translation. A translation first is a transformation. It's a transformation that moves each point of a figure the same distance and in the same direction, right? That is a sliding motion when we translate a figure. We usually translate a figure up, down, left, or right. An image is the figure you get after a transformation. To identify an image, we use something called prime notation. Point A would be what's called your pre-image, goes to A prime, which would be your image. All right? Let's take a look at an example first. All right? It says translate point B, which is located at 2, -1, up 3 units and to the right 4 units. What are the coordinates of its image, B prime? Well, first we want to start with what's called the pre-image. The pre-image, which is point B, is located at 2, -1. So from the origin, we would go right 2, we go down 1, right? And that would be our point B, right? Which is located at 2, -1. That's what's called our pre-image. We're asked to translate this point up 3 units, right 4 units. So from the original, I'm going to count up 3, 1, 2, 3, and right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a point at that new location. The image point we label with using prime notation. That's this little mark above the letter. So B prime is the location of the image. Well, what is the location of B prime? Well, B prime is located 2, 4, 6 units in the x direction, 1, 2, 2 units in the y direction. So +6, 2 would be the location of B prime. Right, let's take a look at our next example. We want to be able to graph each point and its image after a translation. Right? Our first example, we want to start with point C as our pre-image. So we start at the origin, and I count left 3, 1, 2, 3. I go up 2 because the y value is positive, 1, 2. I put a point, and we're going to call that C. They want us to take point C and translate that point C up 4 units, right 7 units. Okay, so from point C, we're going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to put a point. That is our image point, so we use prime notation to note that that is an image. Point C is what's called the pre-image. C prime is our image. Our original point, C, was located at -3, 2. Well, what's the location of C prime? From the origin, in order to get to C prime, we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in the positive y direction. So if I move 4 units right, and I move 6 units up, 4, 6 would be the location of C prime. All right, let's try example B. Example B tells us to start with point D, which is located at 4, -3. So from the origin, we're going to count right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a point, and we're going to label that D. Point D is located at 4, -3. We're asked to translate point D down 2, left 5. So from point D, I want to count down 2, 1, 2, left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I put a point. I label it using my prime notation as an image point. So that's D prime. D prime is located from the origin, left 1 unit in the x direction. So that's -1 in the x direction. We're down in the y direction. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in the y direction, the negative y direction. So the location of D prime would be -1 in the x direction, -5 in the y direction. So -1, comma -5 would be the location of D prime. All right, let's try our next example. Let's see what it's like to translate a figure. Well, if I want to, we're told to graph triangle JKL with vertices at -3 and 4, 1 and 3, and -4 and 1. Then we're to graph the image of triangle JKL after a translation 2 units right and 5 units down. Write the coordinates of its vertices. Right? First, we're told to graph triangle JKL. So let's start with the graph of triangle JKL. Point J is located at -3, 4. So from the origin, I count 3 in the x direction to the left because it's negative. 1, 2, 3. And then +4 in the y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. I put a point. I'm going to label that J. Point K is located at 1, 3. So we start at the origin. 1 to the right because our x direction is +1. We're going to go up 3 because the y direction is +3. So 1, 2, 3. I put a point. I'm going to label that K. Point L is located at -4 and 1. So I start at the origin and I count left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go up 1 because y is positive. Put a point and label that L. I get a collection of points in a straight path. All right, so let's see, I want to use a little thinner line, and let's make that blue. All right, so we start here, go here, and we go here. There's triangle JKL. We want to now graph the image of JKL after translation 2 units right, 5 units down. So triangle JKL is our pre-image. Triangle JKL after the translation will be our image. So we start 2 right and 5 units down. So in order to translate the triangle, we have to translate each individual point 2 units to the right, 5 units down. So let's start with point J. Point J, we want to move 2 units right, so that's 1, 2, and 5 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a point, and that's the location of J prime. That is the image of point J after a translation 2 right, 5 down. I want to do the same now for point K. I want to translate 2 to the right, 1, 2, 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I put a point. We label that K prime because it's an image. Then I want to take point L. I want to translate it 2 to the right, 1, 2, 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put a point. I'm labeling that L prime. I want to use a ruler to connect my points. All right, let's make that red. So I start here, connect, connect, and connect. Now, when we translate a figure, our figures should be similar, meaning they should be the same size. All right? And they are the same size and the same shape, right? So they're same size, same shape. So we translated each one of our individual points for J, K, and L, our pre-image. We translated each point 2 to the right, 5 units down. Point K, 2 to the right, 5 units down. Point L, 2 to the right, 5 units down to create our image. Let's try another one. Graph triangle ABC with vertices at 4 and -3, 0 and 2, and 5 and 1. Then graph its image after a translation 4 units left and 3 units up. Write the coordinates of the image. Okay? Let's start with triangle ABC. Point A is located at 4, -3. So from the origin, I count right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going down because the y value is negative. Label that point A. Point B is located at 0, 2. When we have 0 as our x value, it means I don't go left or right, because this is where 0 is located on the x-axis, right? Because the x-axis is simply a horizontal number line. and here's 0 on that horizontal number line. But my y value is 2. So I have to go up 2 units from 0 on the x-axis. I'm going to label that point B. Point C is located at 5, 1, so I count right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Up 1. I put a point. I label that C. I want to connect my points, right, using a ruler or a straight line. So connect here, connect here, and I want to go, oops, and I want to go, and again, right, I need my line, make sure that that's blue, there line, and I want that to be blue, and I'm going to go from here to here. So there's triangle ABC. We have to then translate each point of our triangle. 4 units left, 3 units up. So let's start with point A. With point A, I want to translate 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 units up. So 4 left. 1, 2, 3 units up. Put a point. I'll label that A prime, which is located at the origin. And then point B, I want to go 4 units left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Put a point, and that's B prime. And then I take point C, and with point C, I want to translate 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Put a point. Label it C prime. Right, use your ruler. Connect your points. Right, make sure they're nice and straight. So we're going to go here. Then we go here. And then we go here. Right, and once again, we should see that the triangles are similar, meaning same shape and same size. And just, you can see that each one of your points was moved in the same direction. 4 units left and 3 units up. Point B, 4 units left, 3 units up. And point C, 1, 2, 3, 4 units left, 3 units up. All right, let's look at our next problem. Triangle XYZ has vertices at -1 and -2, 6 and -3, and 2 and -5. We want to find the vertices of triangle X prime, Y prime, and Z prime after a translation of 2 units left and 1 unit up. Use a table. We want to add 2 to the X coordinates and 1 to the Y coordinates. All right, and let's explain that a bit better. All right, we see that if we're translating 2 units to the left, right, if I'm translating 2 units to the left here, we're translating, or we're moving left on the x-axis. And when we move left on the x-axis, we're going left on the horizontal number line. And when we go left on the horizontal number line, we have to take away. So if I'm going 2 units left, I'm taking 2 away from every one of my x values. Our y values, we're told to go 1 unit up. If I'm going 1 unit up, we're going in the positive y direction, so I have to add 1 to each one of my y values, right? So let's see how we would use a rule, right? This would essentially be our rule. So the vertices of triangle XYZ. Point X. Point X is located at -1 and -2. So how that's going to work? Well, I want to take my x value, which is -1, and I want to add -2 to that. My y value, oops, didn't want to do that. My y value, I want to add 1 to my y value. So my y value is -2. So I want to take -2 and I want to add 1 to that. So my ordered pair, or to find the image of x, which we would call x prime, I have to add -2 to -1. Right, that's going to give us -3. Then I have to add 1 to -2. That's going to be -1. Let's try that with our y value. Our y value is 6 and -3. So our in order to find the image point, we have to take our x value, which is 6, and we have to take 2 away from that, or add negative 2 to that. So 6 plus negative 2 is going to be the location, the x value of our image. To find the y value of our image, we have to take the original y value, which is negative 3, and then we have to add 1 to that, so negative 3 and 1. So the location of y prime, we'd have to add 6 and negative 2, which is going to be 4, negative 3 and 1, which is going to be negative 2. All right, and then we have point z. Point z is located, let's see, z is located at 2 and negative 5. So 2 and negative 5. So we have to start with our x value, which is 2. We're going to take, add negative 2 to that. So plus negative 2. And then our y value, which is negative 5, we have to add 1 to that. Negative 2 and 2. So the location for z prime, negative 2 and 2 would be 0. And negative 5 and 1 would be negative 4. So we have found the locations of our vertices of the image without actually using graph paper. And we're simply using mathematics and a rule to find each one of our image points. Let's try another one, but here we have to make our own rule. We're told quadrilateral ABCD. Let's fix that for a second. And all right, so I need white, and I need thicker line here just to fix this. All right, so let's erase that and erase that. All right, good enough. Let's try that again. So the quadrilateral ABCD. So this should be A, B, C, D. And this is going to be A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. A is located at 0, 0. So point A. Oops. Point A is located at 0, 0. 0, 0. Point B is located at 2 and 0. Point C is located at 3, 4. And point D is located at 0, 4. So we'll put point D down here. D is located at 0, 4. Now let's talk about a rule. We're asked to find the vertices of quadrilateral A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime after a translation of 4 units right, 2 units up. Well, if we're moving right on the x-axis, we're moving in the positive direction, so we would add 4 to every one of our x values. If we're asked to translate 2 units down, we're moving in the negative y direction, so we'll have to take 2 away from each one of our y values. So that's what our rule is going to look like. Right? We have the x value. We're going to have to add 4 because we're moving 4 units to the right. And with our y value, because we're moving 2 units down, we're going to have to take 2 away from each one of the y values. So 0, 0. We start, we'd have to add 4, so that would be 0 plus 4. And then if our y value is 0, we'd have to take 2 away. So the location of A prime is going to be located at 4, because 0 plus 4 is 4, comma, 0 take away 2 is negative 2. So A prime is going to be located at 4, comma, negative 2. Right. To find B prime, we have to start with 2, and then we have to add 4 to that. Y value is going to be 0, and we're going to have to take away 2. So for B prime, that's going to be located at 2 plus 4 is 6. 0 take away 2 is negative 2. To find C prime, we have to start with our x value of 3, and then we have to add 4 to that. And then we start with our y value of 4, and we have to, take away 2 from that. Right, let me say plus 4, and then we have 4, and we're going to take away 2. So to find C prime, 3 plus 4 is 7, and 4 take away 2 is 2. So C prime should be located at 7, 2. And for D, point D, D, we start at 0 on the for x, and then we have to add 4 to that 0. And for y, we're starting with 4, and we're going to have to take away 2. So for D prime, that's going to be located at 0, comma 4, which, or 0 plus 4, which is 4, or take away 2, which is 2. So we're able to find each one of our image points by using the rule. And our rule comes from the direction and distance, right? 4 units to the right, we're adding 4. 2 units down, we're taking 2 away from the y value. Okay. Does translating a point up or down affect the x-coordinate or the y-coordinate? Up or down is going to affect the y-coordinate. What about translating a point to the left or right? That's going to affect the x value. We can show a translation by using what's called arrow notation or translation notation, such as A goes to A prime. You read this as point A goes to A prime. So let's see how that's going to work with our first example. The triangle DEF has vertices at -5 and 1, -1 and 4, and -2 and 2. Translate triangle DEF to the right, right 6 units and down 2 units. Right? In order to translate that, we want to slide each vertex 6 units to the right and 3 units down. Then we would connect the points. All right. So before we want to do that, let's talk about writing our rule. So if I'm using translation notation or arrow notation, it's going to look like the following. Right? X and Y go to, right? Well, the X value, we're moving right 6 units. So that means we're going to have to take our X value and add 6. Our Y value, we're going down 3. So if I'm writing a rule, I'd have to take my Y value and take away 3. So let's see what that's going to look like. So if we actually translate 6 right, 3 down, I take each point, start with D, and I go 6 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a point. That's my D prime. Point E, 6 right. Oh, I didn't do 3 down though. Let's undo that. Try that again. All right, I have to go 6 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going 3 down. 1, 2, 3. I put a point, and that's my D prime. Point F, 6 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 down. 1, 2, and 3. Right, I put a point, and that's my F prime. And then point E, I want to go 6 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 down. 1, 2, and 3. Put a point, and that's going to be my E prime. Connect my points. Let's use red. And that's going to look something like this. Straight line here, and straight line here. And once again, our figure should be similar, meaning same shape, same size. All right, let's try another one, and let's write our rule. All right, we're asked to take our triangle and translate the image 3 left, 4 units up. 3 left, 4 up. So if I'm using my translation notation, a rule would look something like this. X and Y go to. In our X direction, we're moving 3 left, so that means we have to take 3 away from each one of our X values. It's going to be X, take away 3. And for the Y value, because we're going up 4 units, it means we're adding 4 to each one of our Y values. So the Y value, we would have to add 4. So that's what our rule would look like using the translation notation. All right. Now, let's see if that's going to work. All right. So we're going to take 3 away from each one of our X values first. So let's start with H, I, and J. Let's start with H prime. H prime should be located where? Well, H prime, here's H. H prime, I'd have to take 3 away from 5. So that's going to be 2 for the X value. And let's see. Okay, that's going to be 2. And then for your Y value, starts at -1, but we have to add 4. -1 and 4 means that the Y value is going to be 3. So the image point for H prime would be located at 2 and 3. I prime, let's see where that would be located. Here's I. We have to take 3 away from the x value. So if I'm at 1 and I take away 3, that's going to be negative 2 from my x value of I prime. My y value for I prime, I'm starting at negative 1, but I have to add 4. Negative 1 plus 4, once again, that's going to give me a value of 3. And then we have g prime. Well, the x value for g prime starts at 3, but then we have to take away 3. It's going to be 0. My y value starts at 3, but then we have to add 4. 3 and 4 is 7. So we now have the locations of h prime, I prime, and g prime. And let's see if that will actually look like a similar figure, meaning same shape and same size, where each point is translated 3 left and 4 up. Right? If it does not look similar, it means we did something wrong with our mathematics. Right? So let's start. 2 and negative 3. That would be, or 2 comma 3 for h prime. I'd go right 2, up 3, put a point. It's going to be my h prime. 2 comma 3, yes. And then I prime is located at negative 2 and 3, left 2, 1, 2, 3. Right? It's going to be my I prime. And then g prime is 0 comma 7. 0 in the x direction, but up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? That's going to be my g prime. If I connect those points, right, let's see what that's going to look like. Keep it red. All right, let's let me here, and then here, and then here. Right? Do the figures look similar? Yes, they do. And is each point, let's see, left 3, 1, 2, 3, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, they are. So in that example, we used the rule to generate the locations of our image points, and then we check to see if the image actually looks, the same as the pre-image. Okay. Let's try this one. We want to translate the given image down 5 units. Well, if we're writing a rule for this one, right, notice it doesn't say anything about the x value, right? So if I'm writing the rule, right, x comma y, right, goes to, right, the x value is going to stay the same, so it's just going to be x. But the y value goes down. If we're going down 5 units, that means that we have to take 5 away from y. So our rule would look something like that. The x value stays the same, but the y value is going to be 5 less. So let's try to generate our image points using that rule. So the x values stay the same. So I'm going to have 0 for the x value because that doesn't change. If point K is located at 3 comma 4, the x value is 3. That doesn't change. Point L is located at 5 comma 1. X value doesn't change. So that's going to be 5. Now for the y value, we have to take away 5 from each one of these to find the image location. So if I'm at 2 and I take away 5, that's going to be negative 3. If I'm at 4 and take away 5, it's going to be negative 1. If I'm at 1 and take away 5, that's going to be negative 4. So now we have our image locations. Let's graph them and see what we look like. 0 and negative 3, it's going to be here, and that's going to be j prime. 3 and negative 1, right 3 down 1, that's going to be k prime. And then we have, let's see, 5 and negative 4. Right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I put a point. It's going to be my L prime. Let's connect those points. Hopefully we get a figure that is similar. Start here, straight line, and straight line. So our figures look similar, pretty much. Notice that it's directly beneath the pre-image because we did not move left or right, right? The x value stayed the same. So each one of these ordered pairs, or each one of these points, the x value is the same, only the y value changed, right? We took each point and moved down 5 units. Okay. Let's see. You can use arrow notation to write a general rule that describes a translation, right? And we were just talking about that. Let's see if we can write a rule here, right? This rule describes a translation 1 unit to the left and plus 5 would be 5 units up. So let's see if we can write rules for each one of these. We're asked to use arrow notation to write a rule that describes the translation. Well, first, we have to be able to determine which figure was the original and which figure is the image. And we do that using our prime notation. So I know that our original figure, which we call the pre-image, that's located here, LMN, triangle. The prime notation, the image, is here, to the right. So we can see that it would be moved right. So that means our x value should be plus something. Well, how many units did it move? Well, let's pick a point. Let's pick point M. Point M is located at -3 on the x-axis. The image is located where? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here's where it's located on the x-axis. So we moved 6 units right. So if we're writing our rule, right, if I'm writing my rule, our x value, let's see, x comma y, goes to, our x value should be plus 6. Well, let's see what happens to the y value. Here's our original, right, located at 0 on the y-axis, point M, and then M prime is located 2 units up. So that means the y value increased by 2. Right. I'm going to check that, right, with the rule that we already have written, and that should be correct. There's our rule. Right, 6 units in the x direction, 2 units in the y direction. Okay? Why don't you guys try the next one on your own first? Use arrow notation to write a rule that describes the translation. Remember to pay attention to the image, the pre-image, and the image. Right? This way we know which direction, right, everything was moved. So I can see that it was moved to the left, so we're going to be taking something away from our x value. We see that we translated up, so we're going to be adding something for our y value. Okay? So why don't you guys give that a shot? All right? Well, let's see what that's going to look like then. Well, let's go from P to P prime. We moved 1, 2, 3, 4 units left. So that would be x minus 4. 1 unit to the right, or 1 unit up, so that would be y plus 1. So we should have x minus 4, y plus 1. Right? And I have x minus 5 here, and that's going to be a mistake. Right? Let's change that, because it is just 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that should be x minus 4, y plus 1 for the rule. Right? And one more for you guys to try on your own. Write a rule to describe the translation of the black triangle to the blue triangle. Right? Here's my pre-image. Here's my image. We're moving right on the x-axis, so we should be adding something to our x value. Notice we're moving down on the y-axis, so we should be taking something away from our y value. All right, so why don't you guys take a look at that rule. All right, our x value is 1, 2, 3 units to the right. If I'm going from R to R prime, right, here's R on the x-axis. Here's the location of R prime on the x-axis, and that's simply 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right. So that should be x plus 4. For our y value, right, R is located up here, R prime is located here, so that's 2 units down. So it looks like our rule should be x plus 4, y plus 2. All right, that's the end of our lesson today. All right, hopefully that was helpful. All right, good luck.